Fine.
Just a question to all of you. I have some AI assistants. Usually we do not accept them. So that you know. People are still coming. So I will accept the people, but not the assistants.
That's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just have sound on because they're not doing. Is that okay? Mine.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good, Jesper. Good to see you.
Don't hear anything.
So I see some people still in the waiting room. Is that possible?
No, there are just two AI
Okay,
assistants.
those assistants. Okay,
yes,
yeah,
as I said, I will not
yeah, absolutely.
let them in, but I'm watching.
Good. So we'll wait a couple more minutes before we get started. And we even have a note taker from Rohalf. The note takers, that's excellent.
But I don't know how come I admitted that one. It was the first one, and then I realized because I usually don't. But I haven't operated Zoom for a long time, and my colleague Aline being out of vacation, so this is me. But no other note taker, no other. I don't know what it's doing. If I can kick it out.
So thanks for the people in joining. So we'll give a couple more minutes for them to further join and then get started. And if I understood correctly, we are recording so that we have the opportunity for people to look again at the recording. So I see that Laura was joining as well.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Alberto. Good to see you. Welcome.
Yeah, good to see you.
See Heike as well. Morning, Heike.
Morning, Eve. Nice to see you all.
Good to see you.
See you, Heike.
Hi, Jesper.
So I have usuario. Yeah, welcome. Good to see you. And so yeah, if people can turn on the cameras in the beginning, would be great. So then people can see potentially some familiar faces. So it's always nice. So I propose we slowly get started. So I'll share or try to share the slides. I'm not sure if I'm successful. I'm not, so I don't think so. I suppose now you can see the slides.
Yes, we can see.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. So then first, of course, a big welcome to the community meeting. So it's really great to have the people on the call and Apologies that we had to reschedule from last week to this week. And really great that you could make it to it. So what we're having, I'm trying to see if I can put it on the big screen.
Works.
It works. Okay, great. Then if I now can also forward the slide, that would be even better. Yeah. So I mean, how we set up it, just as a quick reminder. So we are taking, we are doing the recording. So if you have any issues with being recorded, then please turn off the video, the camera, and if you can mute the microphones, that would be great. But don't hesitate to unmute and to speak up during the presentations, because we're seeking really to have a good interaction and a good exchange. And questions can be certainly asked after every speaker, but also alongside of the presentations. So for today's agenda, we will have the topics with regards to the breakthrough developments, some latest developments that are taking place, initiatives from the European Commission. And we will also make the link towards a survey that we're planning for that. We will then have also further exchanges with regards to the initiatives that are ongoing from white paper development by our partners from SGS, who will be focusing on a specific one today, if I understood correctly, in the context of EUDAMED. And we will also have a presentation or an exchange by Jesper of demonstrating the initiative and the tool, I suppose, Jesper, that you developed in order to be also supportive towards addressing the regulatory challenges that companies and especially the micro and small companies might be having. But first, before going into that area, a welcome for new members, new participants. What we have it and has a habit is that you present yourself just to get familiar with the community. So if there are any new people, what would be great is just to give your name, your affiliation, and the interest in the topic. So do we have anybody who is joining for the first time? I don't know if you have. Ziario, or did you already participate previously? So is everybody or I see that Ziario raised the hand. So please go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. I'm sorry for the usuario thing. My name is Eleonora. I'm from Cluster CV from Spain. I don't know why Zoom is not recognizing my account today. So yes, for us, I'm here with my colleague Melania, and it's our first meeting of NoBoCap Community. We are for a care and health cluster based in Spain, and nice to meet you all. Thank you for having us today.
Okay. Sorry, you indicated which cluster are you involved in Spain?
The name is Cluster CV. This is an innovation solution for independent life. Okay, and we have a care and health cluster in Spain.
Excellent. And where in Spain are you based?
We are based in Valladolid, in the center of Castilla y León.
That sounds
Center region
excellent.
of
Yeah,
Spain.
sounds excellent. Well, thanks, and apologize for the yeah. I mean, you're showing up like that. So anyhow, it's great to have you. So anybody else that joined for the first time?
Hello. I'm joining for the first time, but I'm representing today my colleagues. I'm the replacement of them from a pure clinical company.
Okay, great, excellent. Well, thanks for joining as well. And which area are your technologies from?
No, generally medical devices and clinical investigations.
Okay, yeah, and not a specific field, not specifically for cardiovascular or for neuro or more generic.
Any devices.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining as well. Any further people that are joining for the first time?
Not for the first time, but I think that I joined at the very, very beginning, and it's been Maika, my colleague from the Basque Health Cluster, the one who has been joining you during the last meetings, but she's on holidays now, so I'm the one who's participating today in the meeting. So
excellent.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah, great to see you as well. And we're hearing that it's quite the temperature are quite extreme in the Basque area.
Yes,
So
it's been horrible indeed.
okay, so it's great that we can meet up within offices then. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, thanks for joining as well. Somebody else that is joined for the first time? If not, then we'll go back into the topics. And so I will be sharing the slides for the community presentation. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so I assume you can see the slides now?
Yes, we can see them.
Okay, and now they should be in presentation mode. Yeah, okay, great. So myself as Yves Verboven, also like a partner in the in the NoBoCap project. So what I wanted to do is to provide an update on, let's say, the latest development that are taking place in the field of as indicated, the legislative and non-legislative policy initiatives to support innovation, which are taking place by the European Commission. So we're of course focusing on the regulatory aspects and how we're seeking to evolve towards a more innovation enabling regulatory environment. And so it is good to see that from when we started the project, so the NoBoCap project, towards now, that increasingly there is actually an attention given towards the area of seeking how to further enable the innovation and the SMEs in order to address the regulatory challenges and find good pathways for the introduction of the innovation in Europe. And so if we look at some of those developments that are taking place, there is a split up between what can be done on the short term and what's more on the longer term. On the short term, the tools that exist from within the European setting is to work with further implementation, so implementing acts that can be developed, which do have a strong or which do have a legal basis, so they are applicable, they are enforceable. And then you also have guidances, and of course the guidance is more a clear description on ways forward in it, but has a lesser degree of enforceability from a legal basis. But what we have seen, and what was also partially already presented previously, is that we have the implementing decision of the designation of additional expert panels in the field of the pediatrics and the rare diseases. So it is important, given that there is an increasing role to be assigned towards those expert panels. And so the fact of now having also an expert panel for the field of pediatrics and rare diseases is quite important. And you will see later also how, and also in the revision, the role of expert panels is increasingly an important role to take forward, but also the composition of those expert panels is also evolving over time. The other new development from the implementing, which I picked up, is this new implementing regulation that sets out uniform requirements for conformity assessment and notified bodies. So increasingly, there is a focus on how to ensure a more streamlining also from the accessibility towards notified bodies, of also the interaction towards the innovators. And so within those implementing regulation, and the link is provided to have the details, it includes requirements for issuing the quotation to manufacturers to provide a reliable estimation of the overall requested services and costs, built-in timelines, clock stops, so that also there on the predictability from the total time will be important, both for the area of quality management systems, for audits, for product verification, requirements for notified body to establish a system to monitor the duration and costs of the conformity assessment activities, publish this information on an annual basis, and clarified procedure and timelines for the recertification activities, reducing the uncertainty for notified bodies and manufacturers as well. So this is now in the phase of implementing, and the regulation will then be implemented and apply as of the end of February 2027. And of course, for the yearly evaluation, it will be January 2028. So I think it's an important step also moving forward in having more clarity, more predictability with regards to the timelines, the costs that are associated with going through the notified body process. If we look at the further initiatives, there is this initiative of the frequently asked questions, of the interplay of the MDR, IVDR, and the AI Act. So this is also something which is continuously available, and I would advise really to monitor also the website from the Commission to have further information on those as well. And of course, happy to help out also to direct in this. We did have at the summit last year a more in-depth description presentation also of the state of play that we have between the two regulations, and so how the conversion is actually foreseen moving forward as well. So these are a couple of the ones, but the one I wanted to focus on is further going into the breakthrough guidance. And so the breakthrough technologies, so the guidance on breakthrough devices is now also published end of last year. And so it is now also applicable. And so within this guidance, what the aim is really to have a guidance for the manufacturers, but not only the manufacturers, also the expert panels, the notified bodies, the competent authorities on the process and the regulatory considerations relevant for qualifying, assessing, certifying breakthrough medical devices and breakthrough in vitro diagnostics. And this guidance applies for all devices of all risk classes. So the guidance provides then consideration also on the clinical evaluation, the performance evaluation of the technologies, the role of non-clinical data, the preclinical evaluation, post-market clinical follow-ups. So the question with regards to the supportive data is then elaborated specifically towards those breakthrough technologies. And it also describes the role of the different actors, including also the EMA expert panels, as well as the national competent authorities. And it outlines the support and opportunities available to the manufacturers for the introduction of breakthrough technologies. So it seeks to be an answer towards the pathways that are available in the US, in Japan on breakthrough technologies. So this will be the European answer in order to also have good pathways in order to enter the European health systems more efficiently if the technology is considered as a breakthrough technology. And so the criteria that are being looked at are the area of the novelty of the technology and the technology or the related clinical procedure and or the application of the device in clinical practice. So what's the degree of novelty? And then what's the degree of impact, positive clinical impact that it has? Positive in clinical impact for the patients, but also for public health. And so public health is then also under that for healthcare provision. So it's also novelty, which is linked to healthcare provision, is part of the potential in order to have a breakthrough offering as well. Looking in the area of irreversible debilitating diseases or conditions, and so seeking to have a significant positive clinical impact, or as indicated, fulfilling an unmet need where there is an absence or insufficiency of an alternative option for that purpose. So in this breakthrough guidance, there is a descriptive table of when technology might be potentially a breakthrough device. And so it looks there at the categories of the novelty. If it is just an incremental one, it will not be applicable. But if you go into disruptive innovations or technologies that provide a paradigm shift, there is then the potential, to be coupled towards this significant positive clinical impact on patient health or on public health. So these are the categories. The data collection, so the clinical data collection, what's being recommended and the design of the studies is also elaborated. So in the pre-market, so before your CE mark, what are the type of designs that would be certainly acceptable designs or recommended designs that there is, and also for the post-market, because there is then also a quite important shift potential towards moving more in the post-market data collection, and so in that way also have then an acceleration of the CE marking, so the initial CE marking with provisions to be obtained. Within that, there is then also the description of what are the support mechanisms across the different stages of development. And so for the innovation hub clusters, I think it's important to have an awareness building for the companies. What is the support mechanisms that are being put in place in the preclinical testing phase, in the clinical performance evaluation, and then in the submission and the certification. So alongside of the pathway, and so already quite early in the development pathway, there is the opportunity for expert panels to provide an opinion on the designation of the status, the national competent authorities to provide regulatory support for the confirmed breakthrough designations. There is then the area of the expert panels also to give advice for the clinical side, for the clinical strategy to work out, national competent authorities to prioritize those clinical investigations, so that there is a priority setting, so that there is an acceleration of having the access. The notified bodies also to prioritize these technologies, and then also have further structured dialogue opportunities that exist in this field. So this is, I think, an important step forward. And so what we seek, of course, is also to further identify within this breakthrough guidance what is now actually considered really of the highest value, and where are there some further gaps, because this is an initial guidance, and within the revision, further potential improvements can be considered as well. And so we will be reaching out in order to seek your input on the consideration of the relevance of this breakthrough guidance now, and what are potentially some remaining gaps, so that we can communicate those as well towards the policymakers, so towards the Commission and other key players in this. So this will be then part of a survey. What we're looking at on the questioning is to which degree this now provides really a safe harbor for a structured dialogue with the notified bodies, which is done in an area with a legal certainty, with predictability, and with planning certainty. So that this might be a potential value to obtain out of this is really this safe environment to have these type of discussions. There is also the role with the ability not only one time to go for a structured dialogue, but to have multiple structured dialogues. So to see how this can be further implemented, again leading to further along the process predictability and planning certainty that can be obtained. And there is also the area of seeing how it actually then fits into the specific pathway for breakthrough technologies. So these are the type of areas that we will be then inquiring if that's being seen as a major value coming out of this guidance coming forward. The area with regards to the accelerated time. So is it seen really as a key enabler to accelerate the time in order to get the certification of the conformity assessment with provisions? So is this helping to ensure to go through that pathway? Also, the fast track ability to have accessibility towards European health systems. Is that something which is then ultimately expected to come out, and is this considered as a major asset? And how is it competitive towards the other jurisdictions? The call for potentially also what was called a concierge, so an ability to actually reach out to an entity to get let's say support with the interpretation of this guidance, and to see how it can now be ultimately optimally used. So there's always along the normal pathway little time to go into different paths. So it might be worthwhile to really have a point of contact that can help in seeing if this is now truly applicable, and what are the consequences if people want to go through this process, and what are also the benefits of going through the process. The question with regards to the financial support, I mean, to which degree is this relevant, of having this type of financial support, and is that a priority, or are other points a priority? Looking at this interplay with other regulatory initiatives. So there's another pathway, but how is this other pathway fitting into the broader regulatory environment, which is being further built out within Europe? And have this element with regards to the trust building, so that ultimately going through this pathway is not leading to just a lowering of the evidence expectation, but is really aligned with the existing requirements, and so it's not a lowering of standards, but it's just a more efficient way of getting the technologies into the system. And so, as indicated, we will be looking into asking some input from your perspective, or for the hubs from your members' perspective, of the relevance of this guidance, and which is the priority components which are really of interest. Before going into the long-term actions, any questions? Let me stop here and to see if there is any questions or any further comments by people. Somebody already has had some experience with it, then happy if you could be able to share that. So any considerations, any questions? And yeah, as I cannot see everybody, just speak up if you have it. If not, then if we look at the long-term actions. So on the long-term actions, as I suppose people are aware, is that there is the update of the medical device regulation, the in vitro diagnostic regulation. So the regulation in itself will be revised. So there is I think a recognition, and this has actually been evaluated. So the regulation has been evaluated earlier than originally foreseen, given that it was identified that the complexity was quite high with the regulation, and limitations were also identified of the current regulation. So it's clear that in order to have a good regulation in place, there is a need for what is called a targeted revision. So it's not a complete overhaul of the full regulation starting again from a blank page, which would take years in order to have something in place, but really have now a targeted revision. Targeted revision which clear objectives, clear aims. One is reduction of administrative burden, including reporting obligations. Another one is to enhance the predictability and the cost efficiency of notified body conformity assessments and certification processes. Another one is to make the conformity assessments more proportionate, especially for the low and medium risk devices and those for special patient needs. So the orphans, the breakthrough, the pediatrics, the in-house. So those categories are identified, and then see what can specifically be done, so that the conformity assessments requirements are proportionate, but also focusing on those as well to be able to go efficiently through the pathways. So it's more fit for purpose. Enabling of the further digitalization, streamlining the procedures, including the governance, enabling the EU medical device sector to benefit from international reliance, and better align with the other relevant EU regulations. And those were identified through call for evidence, through investigations that were initiated. And so in total, there were more than 400 contributions that were given, which actually has led to an update proposal, which at the summit that we had last year was promised as a Christmas present for the end of last year. And the Commission actually delivered this. So there is now a proposal on the table for this targeted revision, and associated with that, staff working documents on the results of this targeted evaluation, as well as staff working document on cost savings analysis, which are mandatory documents that need to be done in order to take a regulation forward. And so it's now at the table of the Parliament, of the European Parliament. It's on the table of the Council. So all the member states have to agree with that. They're putting forward or they can put forward some amendments to those proposals, which then will go into a trilogy discussion in order to then finalize the new updated revision. Now, what is to be expected from this revision? And so I asked ChatGPT, but for innovators, what's expected to have an impact of this, and what are the changes that are actually in there. And so you see the list that came out of it. So the breakthrough device pathway, the reduced SME burden, more flexible clinical evidence requirements with an impact assessment linked to the innovation. So if we look at the easier use of clinical evidence and equivalence, so that the revision aims to make clinical evidence requirement more proportionate, expanding what can be accepted as clinical data, facilitating the use of equivalent device data, and introducing more flexible evidence generation pathways. There is also, for example, now brought in the in silico type of data. I think it's quite interesting to really take that step forward. And so for innovative SMEs, this could then significantly reduce the time to market, clinical study costs, and regulatory uncertainty. The other point that was then put forward is actually the better support for SMEs. So a recurrent objective in the revision is really the reducing the disproportionate impact the MDR/IVDR has on SMEs. So the Commission specifically cites to lower administrative burden, more predictable certification, lower costs, regulatory costs, reduce barriers to market entry. And that especially also because it is recognized that the medical technology innovation is primarily driven by small, medium-sized companies. So quite important. Of course, that's all nice what ChatGPT thinks about it. I think what we seek to do is to really then bring also forward your voice, your members' voice. And again, that's why we're over the summer, we'll actually have a survey in order to obtain your view of the key elements in this revision, and key identified elements that we will have. How relevant do you consider them in order to be successful in ensuring that this is then becoming an innovation enabling regulatory environment in Europe and the regulation that we have in place. So let me stop here and see if there are any questions that you're having. And this is the part of the update from my end that I wanted to provide on seeing the, let's say, the changing environment that we're having, where of course a lot of work is still needed, but at least we do have the opportunity to have a regulation which is more moving in an innovation supportive, innovation enabling regulation. But the community need to speak up in order to make sure that the parts which are relevant are ultimately being implemented in the regulation. So any questions from your end? Or any consideration? So again, if afterwards you have any questions or any comments, please don't hesitate to reach out, so we can have some further discussions on it. If this information is all overwhelming, let us know as well, because I think it will be it will be important that there is the appropriate measures taken, that there is a good understanding of what are those changes, what are the implications of those changes as well. Okay. So then, if no more questions, I'll go back into the original and then move forward with. I hope this is the right one. With the rest of the webinar. Okay.
Excuse me, I see, Jasper, I see you have a request to me to allow multiple presenters.
I just wanted to present, at one point I just need to present, to be a presenter.
You need to present. You want to present?
Not now, when it's my time.
Okay, I will make you a co-host so that you know, and then you can present. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. So then I wanted to turn over to our other partner colleagues from SGS, who, if I understood correctly, are preparing some nice white papers. And this would be the second white paper that would be presented by Christoph and Katarina, if I'm rightly informed. Otherwise, take over, I would say, and I'll stop sharing, and then the floor is yours.
Yeah, everything is correct. Thank you very much for this introduction. I will share my screen now. I hope you can see my screen. Yeah, it's correct. And I will also rearrange my other screens just to have everything I need. Okay, so once again, good morning, everyone. Today, I will introduce our white paper on UDAMED implementation under VIVDR, focusing on its implications for traceability, UDI, and labeling, and briefly discuss the key issues in this area. The timing of this topic is especially important because UDAMED is transitioning from a largely voluntary system to a mandatory regulatory platform for several key functions under the IVDR. This is a major transformation of the database systems used for medical and IVD, medical devices, from fragmented national systems to a centralized EU-wide regulatory database that fundamentally changes how device data is managed and supervised. Katarina and I have prepared this white paper and the current presentation together, and I am representing us both by delivering this webinar. The white paper, as I know, is already published and available on NoBoCap Community website, so you can look for more details in this area there. Briefly about us, we both work with the SGS Belgium 1639 notified body. Katarina currently focuses on training and regulatory writing, primarily for IVDR, and has also broad experience in human biology and molecular cell biology. I am a biotechnologist with over 30 years of industry experience across different IVD device manufacturing activities, from R&D to regulatory affairs, and currently working as an IVDR product assessor. Together, we aim to combine practical regulatory experience with some implementation insights. By the end of this session, I hope you will better understand UDAMED's role within the IVDR framework, clearly see how traceability is established under the IVDR, understand the relationship among UDI, UDAMED, and labeling, recognize common implementation challenges, and identify practical steps to prepare for new mandatory requirements. The IVDR replaced the previous in vitro diagnostics directive and introduced significantly stronger regulatory controls. Several factors motivated these changes. Under the previous framework, traceability of devices once placed on the market was severely limited. There was also significant fragmentation among national registration systems, making information sharing quite difficult. Furthermore, authorities had limited visibility into post-market activities, and information on medical and IVD devices on the market was hardly accessible. The IVDR addresses these issues through stronger oversight mechanisms, expanded notified body involvement, more robust performance evaluation requirements, and the creation of UDAMED as a centralized database. What is UDAMED? So, in short, UDAMED is a centralized EU database for medical and IVD devices, developed under Articles 33 and 34 of the MDR and Article 30 of the IVDR. Its main role is to serve as a single repository for details on economic operators, devices, certificates, studies, vigilance activities, and market surveillance. The primary aims are to ensure transparency, traceability, and patient safety. This database links manufacturers, devices, and certificates with much of its data now publicly accessible. And this is a significant shift as healthcare professionals, patients, authorities, and economic operators will have access to much more comprehensive information than before. UDAMED consists of 6 interconnected modules. These modules are linked via common identifiers, such as single registration number, that is SRN, and the unique device identification, that is UDI, this way enabling full life cycle traceability. The actual registration module enables the registration and assignment of a single registration number to manufacturers, authorized representatives, and importers, and links all economic operators to devices and certificates. It serves as the gateway to UDAMED for all economic operators, because they must use this module to obtain an SRN first, which is required to register devices or undertake any other activities in UDAMED. The UDI device registration module is used to register devices placed on the union market and to enable the traceability through the UDI system. This registration includes not only the device's basic identification, but also other device-associated master data, such as device characteristics, intended purpose, and risk class. It connects economic operators and certificates supporting public access. It also links devices to vigilance reports, market surveillance, and corrective actions. The Notified Bodies and Certificates module is designed to register notified bodies and upload and maintain certificates issued under the MDR and the IVDR. It links certificates to basic UDI DIs and devices, providing information on the scope, validity, and conditions of these certificates. And this module enables competent authorities to verify device certification and supports enforcement across member states. The clinical and performance studies module is not yet mandatory because it is not yet functional. However, it is intended to support oversight of clinical investigations under the MDR and performance studies under the IVDR in the future. It will be used to manage study applications, monitor study status and outcomes, and link to devices and manufacturers. I expect it will be especially important under IVDR, where performance studies and PMPF are key to compliance. The vigilance module, which is also not yet mandatory or functional, is intended to manage the reporting and analysis of serious incidents and field safety corrective actions, that is FSCAs. I will not focus on this too much. I think it will be more important once this module becomes functionally and mandatory in the future. The market surveillance module facilitates the exchange of surveillance information among competent authorities, including planning, recording, and coordinating market surveillance activities. Surveillance actions and findings are documented here with cross-references to devices, manufacturers, and certificates. This module is for authorities only, and manufacturers do not interact with it directly. Under Commission Decision EU 2025/2371 and Regulation EU 2024/1860, 4 modules become mandatory on May 28, 2026. These are actor registration, UDI and device registration, notified bodies and certificates, and market surveillance. This marks the transition from voluntary to mandatory use of EUDAMED. And since 28 May 2026, manufacturers, authorized representatives, and importers must register and fulfill over EUDAMED obligations for these 4 mandatory modules. Key dates to remember. November 27th, 2025, 4 modules were declared functional, and the 6-month transition period began. May 28th, 2026, mandatory use began. November 28th, 2026, legacy devices registration deadline, and this is a very important date. All legacy devices covered by IVDD declarations of conformity or certificates that were lawfully placed on the market before May 28th, 2026, and any IVDR certified devices that were commercialized before May 28, 2026, but not yet entered into the EUDAMED system, must be registered by this date. All IVD devices without a valid EUDAMED record by November 2026 will just lose the legal basis for continued sale in the European Union. May 28th, 2027, this is certificate upload deadline. And this deadline applies more to notified bodies, not to device manufacturers, and marks the end of an 18-month transition period for uploading all valid IVDR certificates issued by notified bodies before the EUDAMED system became mandatory on May 28th, 2026. That have not been already uploaded. However, it is very important that any new IVDR certificate issued after May 28, 2026 be entered into EUDAMED immediately upon issuance. Therefore, the date 28th May 2027 does not apply to such certificates and such situations. Why EUDAMED matters? It creates links between devices, manufacturers, certificates, vigilance, and PMS activities. And taken together, all of this significantly improves signal detection and coordinated oversight across the European Union, both of which were previously limited. For example, a serious incident can be linked to a device, the manufacturer, the certificate, affected batches, and corrective actions thanks to it. Traceability is now a core regulatory principle under the IVDR. It is no longer limited to just maintaining manufacturing records. Manufacturers must now be able to trace products throughout the entire life cycle. It supports post-market surveillance, vigilance, and recalls. Importantly, traceability is no longer optional. It is now expected throughout the device's entire life cycle. Under the IVDR, traceability applies at 3 levels. The first level is internal traceability, which cover device configurations, raw materials, batches, and performance data. And it links potential incidents to a specific device's lot or batch. The second level is supply chain traceability, which tracks suppliers and customers and is required so that all economic operators know from whom they receive devices and to whom they supplied them. UDI-enabled regulatory traceability is the third level and the key element that integrates the entire traceability system. It consists of a basic UDI-DI, which is a regulatory grouping identifier, UDI-DI, which is a device identifier, UDI-PI, the production identifier, and together this allows incidents to be easily and quickly linked to specific batches when needed. UDI and EUDAMED should not be treated as separate systems. UDI data is uploaded to EUDAMED and linked to certificates, vigilance reports, and market surveillance. This creates a central backbone for traceability across the European Union. When authorities investigate incidents or conduct surveillance activities, UDI enables rapid identification of affected devices. This is one of the main reasons why the IVDR places such strong emphasis on UDI implementation. Under the IVDD, labels were often treated as just static compliance documents. Under the IVDR, labels become part of an active regulatory interface. It must now align with UDAMED records, UDI data, and technical documentation. Even seemingly minor label changes might affect UDI assignments, UDAMED records, or even certification scope. All required labeling elements are listed in Annex 1, Section 20.2 of the IVDR, but the most important are likely the following. These are device name and intended purpose, manufacturer and authorized representative details, lot or serial number, expiry date, warnings, CE marking, UDI carrier. Once again, this is not a complete list, and of course, all other applicable elements should also be included on the label. All labeling elements may be consistent with UDAMED and with the technical documentation. The UDI carrier is one of the most important labeling elements under the IVDR. It must be provided in both machine-readable AIDC, that is automated identification for data capture format, e.g. data matrix code or barcode, and additionally in human-readable format, as plain text encoded by the machine readable format. The UDI carrier must remain legible throughout the product's life cycle, from the very beginning, from the production until its utilization. It must be placed on the device's label and on its packaging. However, there are some additional considerations and exceptions. So, for example, shipping containers do not require UDI carriers when they are used solely for transporting individually labeled devices. Another example, if there is insufficient space on the device itself or on the unit of use packaging, the UDI carrier can be placed on the next higher level of packaging. If there isn't enough room to include both machine-readable and human-readable formats, only the AIDC format may be used. However, this doesn't apply to self-testing devices, and the human-readable format should still appear on the label in this case. For individually packaged single-use Class A and Class B devices, the UDI carrier might be omitted from the individual package and can be placed on a higher packaging level instead. However, if the healthcare provider or lay user is not expected to have access to the higher packaging level, for example, in home care situations, the individual package must still bear the UDI carrier. If multiple devices or components are packaged together as an IVD kit, the kit itself must have its own UDI, and every part or component of the kit that can be sold separately as a standalone device must also have its own UDI. But only these components. If there are any components which are not sold separately, they don't need separate UDI. Some other example, if UDI carrier on the device itself is visible and readily readable, a duplicate UDI carrier on the packaging is not required. Software is a special case for UDI carriers. For software with a user interface, the UDI should be visible on an accessible screen or on startup screen. If the software has no user interface, it must be able to transmit the UDI via an API. When software is supplied on physical media, such as a CD, DVD, or pen drive, the UDI on the media and the packaging must match the software system UDI. These requirements are often overlooked and therefore deserve very special attention. Language requirements remain a common compliance challenge for manufacturers. Labels and IFUs must comply with national language requirements, while UDAMED entries must always be in English. This creates a situation in which manufacturers must sometimes manage multiple language versions while maintaining complete consistency at the same time. And this maintaining is critical. Therefore, translation should be treated as a controlled regulatory process rather than a simple administrative activity. Language-related issues can create significant regulatory and safety risks. Some examples include inconsistent translations, misinterpretation of the intended purpose, incorrect safety communication, and this can directly affect recalls and regulatory actions. Manufacturers should establish robust translation controls, validation processes, and multilingual change management procedures. Many manufacturers face similar implementation challenges, and these include mainly ensuring data quality and consistency, closing gaps in legacy device data, managing the complex UDI structure, integrating multiple IT systems, and coordinating activities across multiple departments such as quality assurance, manufacturing, supply chain, IT, marketing, management, and others. This is as much an organizational challenge as it is a regulatory one. At the operational level, organizations often struggle with fragmented data sources. Information might exist in different ERP systems, regulatory databases, spreadsheets, document management systems, etc. Manual entry introduces also the risk of inconsistencies. Complex label and language management further increases the risk. And many organizations also identify visibility gaps in the distribution chains. Addressing these issues often requires process redesign rather than a simple software implementation. This increases the risk of inconsistencies and additional delays in implementation. Several best practices can significantly reduce implementation risk and time. Key success factors include, for example, start as early as possible. Don't wait until the deadline. Go through the data submission process in a dedicated Udemy playground environment, and conduct pilot Udemy submissions before a real submission. Validate your data continuously. Establish strong governance for device data. And which is not here on this slide, treat Udemy implementation as an ongoing business process rather than a one-off regulatory project. Successful implementation depends largely on organizational readiness, and to be better prepared for necessary changes, clearly define data ownership, clarify responsibilities among different involved departments like regulatory affairs, quality assurance, IT, supply chain, and operations. Coordinate closely with notified bodies on certificates and data consistency. Establish procedures for maintaining data after initial registration and implement appropriate training programs. Remember that long-term sustainability is as important as initial compliance. To summarize, Udemy is now the central regulatory system. Traceability is life cycle and UDI driven. Labeling is now a critical compliance interface. Success depends on data quality, integration, and governance. Looking ahead, the remaining modules, vigilance and clinical and performance studies, will further strengthen integration. Transparency will also increase. However, regulatory scrutiny will intensify, and EUDAMED will serve as the primary reference system for European Union market oversight, linking traceability, safety, and regulatory compliance. That's all from my part. Thank you very much for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, thanks, Christoph. It was indeed very, very comprehensive overview, and clearly the relevance for the EUDAMED is quite well highlighted here. So any questions? And perhaps we can go back on the screen mode. So if you stop sharing, then we can see each other again. Thanks for that. Any questions for Christoph and team? And so did I understand correctly that we have the slides, but there will be also a paper described?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The white paper is already published and available on the NoBoCap Community website.
Okay.
And we'll also share the presentation with you just after the meeting.
Okay, perfect. Oh, thanks. I'm just again looking around. If any questions. If not, then once again, thanks so much for the white paper and also the presentation. And so it will be a good supportive tool for the people to look into. And then would like to turn over to Jesper, who I understood will be showing some great supportive tool as was developed by the Health Tech hub in Copenhagen. So Jesper, if you can perhaps first give an introduction of yourself, of the hub activities, and then go into the specifics, that would be really appreciated. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting us, Eve. So I'm Jesper. I'm the CEO and founder of Health Tech Hub Copenhagen. We are a non-profit organization that I founded eight years ago. We are here to improve health and reduce health-related costs for 1 billion people. So and the way we do it is that we work with health tech and MedTech startups and scale-ups and the entire ecosystem around it. We work with more than 120 companies the last 8 years. Right now, we have 85 companies that we're working with. We help them get investments. We help them go to market. We help them build their business, and we help them with regulatory approval as well. And we do that together with the rest of the ecosystem, which is also why we're here. One of the problems that we've seen the last 8 years, of course, as you all are aware of in this on this call, is that regulatory is a key problem area for most startups. And these are startups and scale-ups or SMEs, and they basically, as you will also know, it basically takes them 12 months longer in Europe in average to get regulatory approval than in the US. And that means that we do see startups now that actually goes to the US first, So they go to the US first and they might never come to Europe, So they go for FDA clearance as their first priority and not EU clearance for the first priority. And this is obviously bad for EU citizens, healthcare workers, and the productivity and economy of Europe. And that is basically what we are trying to do something about as well. And as you also know, it's not because the innovations are are not happening in Europe. They're definitely happening, but we do see many people failing because of documentation challenges in terms of device classifications, and basically also not knowing where to start. How do I really get started with this regulatory approval? So this is the reason that
Jesper, sorry to interrupt for a moment. I mean, at my end, the slides are cut off at the right side. I'm not sure if I'm the only one or if other people have that as
I see
well.
them well. To me, it's okay.
You have the full slides?
Eve, I think you need to zoom in or out by that.
That's okay, great. So if everybody see it's just my problem, then I'll fix it. Okay, thanks. Then great that everybody is able to see the full slides, and my apologies for the interruption.
No problem, Eve. Thank you. No, but basically we've looked at this problem for 8 years. 2 years ago, we were lucky to get the Novo Nordisk Foundation to support us in building a tool. So because we've seen these problems where we ask founders are asking, hey, do I need to be MDR regulated? How do I start getting MDR regulated? It's like a black box. I have no clue where to start. How much money do I put aside for this? I have no clue how much it costs and how long it takes. And how should I find, as I normally say, I've seen grown men cry because they've chosen the wrong notified body. I've also seen grown men cry because they've chosen the wrong consultants. And we basically want to help with this. We think EU needs to step up here. So we've tried to create a pathway where there's much more structure, where you can get EU approval faster. It's founder friendly in the sense that we know that most founders don't know what regulatory is, so we try to explain it to them in a plain language, and we try to educate them along the way as well with in-context training. We also want to be more transparent, so we want to have a platform that's the biggest in the EU, where you can see which notified bodies are performing for what type of solutions. So there's a review engine, also what consultants are great for what type of solutions, so you can really get the matching much better. And we also want to reduce costs. And obviously, we still want to have a very secure and trustworthy system that is built on trust by design as well. So that's part of the design criteria. And right now, as I said, we spent 2 years building it. It's a non-profit solution, so we're not making money on this. We spend the money we are generating will be spent on producing new pathways to IVDR, to physical devices, to FDA, to DIGA, and other regulatory pathways. Right now, we have it's built and vetted by regulatory experts, and right now we have 138 users on the platform from yesterday, and which is based on 87 companies. And we're basically taking all the tasks, which is more than 530 tasks, and divided them into pathways that are personalized and AI enabled for each company. And we already have working with many accelerators or hubs or organizations that are actively promoting our solutions towards their ecosystem. And if you're representing one of another ecosystem or another hub, please reach out to us as well. Because we don't have a lot of time, I will actually try to play a video that we did, and I hope it will work also on Zoom here.
Yeah, so Jesper, we have time to go over, so don't yeah.
So I hope the video worked for you. This was just a short way of us showing basically what is part of the user experience of what we have built, and I really want to encourage yourself to try it out. It's a free demo on our website, and I want you to, if you like it and think this is valuable for your community, your startups, your friends, your consultant friends, or whoever is in this space, please share it with them, and also reach out to us as well if you want to hear more, and also tell us really how we can improve the platform, because obviously it has been tested by more than 100. We've had loads of feedback, but we are putting out new versions every second week. So we are still getting lots of feedback from people, and we're trying to improve the product so Europe can do its best and get these solutions out there to the patients and caretakers that needs them. So that was basically a very short introduction. So, but I'm here to answer any questions you want.
Great. Well, thanks for that, Jasper. And indeed, so if you can stop sharing, now we can see each other all again. And I think I see some supportive type of emoji coming up. But any questions? Do people have any specific questions at this moment? I mean, from my end, I would be interested now. What's the highest benefit you would expect for, or comments that you received of where the highest benefit has come from using the tool and the process?
That's a great question. I think, of course, it depends on each startup, but I think for many startups, I think it's basically the fact that we're providing them a cookbook. We're providing them a clear structure on what to do and how to do it. I think that's a safety net in that sense. You don't have to ask ChatGPT or OpenAI or Claude or whatever. But because we have actually built a pathway that has been vetted by experts that you can follow. And in that sense, we believe that we can provide more quality into the applications to the notified body, and therefore reducing the time to certification as well.
Yeah,
and we still encourage, our platform. We see startups and scale-ups as well that they will use our platform. They will also use AI tools as well themselves, and they will use consultants as well, because it's not that they will still need consultants to discuss some of the difficult parts, but they don't need as many consultancy hours as they did in the past, because many of the manual work, the easy work, they can do themselves with our platform.
Okay, great. Any other questions people might have? You also mentioned the linking towards notified bodies aspect. It's something that as you know, within NoBoCap we have been also looking at that type of question. So I mean, any process that you're using in order to help with the matching? Is that more on a automated basis, or more on a personal basis, or how are you connecting the SME towards the notified body?
Yeah. So today in this version of the product, we have an overview of all the notified bodies, where you can basically, based on your product, you can see what notified bodies are relevant for your product type, basically. So you can find the notified bodies that are relevant to you. But we hope and read about them and so on. But we hope that when we have enough users on the platform, we would also love to have reviews on the platform, so people can basically say, hey, I use BSI or whatever, and I was really happy with them with my type of solution, which was a software as a device diagnostic tool, whatever. So we want to put in this more transparency as well into the platform, and ideally also average waiting time, so people could see upfront, where's the queue and where is the bandwidth to actually, what's the average waiting time right now. as well. We would love to do that. We don't have that yet.
Yeah,
but we would love
great.
to have that transparency as well, and basically just increase transparency and make sure that people are matched with the right partners, basically, because we do see too many mismatches, basically, and that's a shame for everybody.
Yeah, that's correct. And then a final one, because I always have been intrigued by the notified body in Denmark that was set up also in support of the SME community in Denmark. Was just wondering if that's turning out as a really supportive pathway. That there is like a localized focus on localized SMEs, or you see that the SMEs still need to go across Europe in order to find the good match.
I think first of all, that's a great question, Eve, as well. But first of all, this platform is meant for everybody. It's not a Danish platform. It's for everybody in Europe. And the Danish notified body, which is Typ Syd, it's not. At least what we see is that people use whatever notified body. They don't care if they're physically located in whatever market. So they choose out of experience and out of match, and not out of proximity, physical proximity.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Heikki, you had a question?
Yes, yes, a comment and a question. First, want to congratulate, because yes, we've been in contact for the past 3 years at least, and I've had the opportunity to follow what you do. One thing that we have in common is the drive to provide regulatory clarity, and I think that is very seldom cried out towards the Commission, towards AI offices or the DGs in Europe. And the more we have voice, bigger the voice is, the better the opportunities really are. They already themselves also recognize this lack of clarity in especially the life science strategy of European Commission and plentiful of other places, but it's rarely seen. So it is an item that I also truly believe that will enhance European competitiveness a lot, and a place where we can collaborate much more even going forward. And my question actually relates to that in part. Now you consider MDR. Are you planning also to include IVDR, AI Act potentially, and more of the landscape of regulations?
Yes. And thank you, Heikki, and thank you for helping us and being a pioneer in this area as well. Yes, definitely. Right now we are supporting everybody to be classified to see if they're below or above MDR classification. But we only this first version of the product, or this version of the product, only supports software as a medical device all the way to classification. And as soon as we have enough market traction that people have told us, we have enough users that are saying, yes, we're willing to pay for this, then we can use this income from these first users to build for physical devices, for combination devices, for IVDR, for FDA, for AI Act, and so on. So yes, we will definitely move into all other pathways as fast as we can.
Very good. Thanks. And let's connect again and continue the discussion offline.
I would love to. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And any further questions for Jasper? If not, then again, thanks. And then we'll come to the let's say the final slides for the webinar today. So I'm trying to find them again. This one. Okay. And so we had the great presentation and from Christoph, also from Jasper on the tool. And please reach out to to have a look at it and to comment and to provide feedback for it. Question if there are any other initiatives that people have that you would want to share at this moment. If not, then I just want to indicate that for the next meeting date will be the 17th of September. So people can already, of course, pencil it in. Again, if people have an interest to share at that moment some activities, please let us know. Very happy to do that. We will have then afterwards the 19th, 20th of October, where it's at the Be Health conference, where we will all meet up. So please have a look at the conference there as well. And if you're able, will be great if you could join there as well. And then the last one we have on the 19th of November foreseen at the moment. So then for now, like to thank you, wish everybody a great continuation of the day. Make sure that everybody stays healthy, certainly with these temperatures. So we'll make sure to stay healthy as indicated, and let's connect again and exchange and join the forces now that we're really in this track of moving towards a more innovation enabling environment. I see Janneke joined us as well there at the area of the in silico type of data collections. Potentially we can bring this at the next session as well to see how this now connects and in the revision, and so what might be options there as well. So will be great to see how that world is evolving as well. So for now, again, thanks everybody, and then have a great continuation of the day, and look forward to meet everybody in the near future. So thanks. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.